amount it's a very important tool for in the project, especially for the environmental project, because CBI focus on the value of environment to the society. And as you know that in the in previous chapter, that environmental quality is a public good, and the natural resources is open. And then we have the externality, the negative or positive externality. So the values of the environment is not easy to estimate, and the challenge of the CBI is how to put the values on the environmental services. I call that what the environment provided for the human, named with the services, with goods from the environment, from the nature, so we can know the value from the market. But with the services, for example, with the storms avoidance, they prevent the storm to go further into the land, for example, or flood control. So therefore, in some projects that with the financial analysis is not is unprofitable. With the project that is unprofitable, so there is no one want to spend money on this, because what the investor searching when they spend money on any project is a profit, or even that is a maximize of the profit. But there is so many projects with that they need for the society, or in another speaking, we can say that with the economics analysis, it's turned out to be profitable. For example, like a forest that is a conserve without logging can be unprofitable for the owner. Why? Why the logging that cannot be unprofitable for the owner? Because with the planting and the logging, it takes so many time. It's a long time. As a forest has to be maintained, but does not generate any direct revenue. And with the society as a whole, the benefits, for example, with the life profit, with the profit, for example, like water provision, tourism, wildlife, biodiversity, scenic beauty, etc. That is the service, the service of the ecosystem services, we call it, ecosystem services that bring to the human. Or another, the soil fertility. For example, CBA need to be done, because without CBA, without cost benefits analysis, can account for all of the cost and benefit in the society. There is no with the environmental project can be done. Therefore, with the environmental project, they get more with the environmental for I call it the environmental project. With this, so one that can be done by the investor with the condition, like from the government, or other or environmental project can be done by the government. For example, with the nature reserve, it's only can be done by the government. But the reforestation, it can be done by the investor. If they receive some subsidies from the government, for example. It's like it's the same with the public goods case. So what is the difference between the financial analysis and CBA? I need you raise the hands, answer my question first. And if there is no one answer this question, I can call. Anyone raise your hand? Answer. What is the difference between the FA and CBA? Nghiêm Phương Anh, please. Nghiêm Phương Anh, are you there?
Yes.
So what is the difference between? Is it is it clear for you to from what I explained before? Is it clear for you to hear or any technical problems there? Phương Anh, please.
No, but can you? The questions is the difference between financial analysis and the CBA.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So my question is, what is the difference between the FA and CBA?
I think the CBA is the process used to measure the benefits of decisions, and it involves the measurable financial metrics such as like the revenue or the cost saved as a result of the decisions, and the financial analysis. The financial analysis is the process of evaluating business projects, budgets, and other financial related transactions, and used to analyze an entity is stable, solvent, liquid, or profitable enough to warrant a monetary investment.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, thank you. That's it is good that you give us the concept of what is the CPA and what is the FA. I can list here some of the difference between the FA and CBA. For example, like with the cost and benefits. Cost benefits, with the FA point of view, is just only the cost benefit that anticipate with this project, and it can estimate in the market by the market price. But the CBA, the cost benefit analysis, that is all the cost benefits, that all the cost and benefits flow from the standing point of the policymaker, from the point of the whole society. And then the cost and benefits, they include both non-market, market price and non-market price. Right? That is the difference between the FA and CBA. Right? And you can point out the other difference as well. Okay, so here that I show you the difference between um, the project with financial analysis. Here you can see that is uh, from the financial analysis of the proposed project, and they can list here with the cost and the benefits items. For example, with the cost, you can see like the cost for the staff, the cost for the powers and depression and interest with the launch from the maybe from the bank. And also with the revenue, it's a revenue from the sales power. That is so you can see that is the project on electrical project. Right? Here that is the cost benefits analysis of the project, one project. And here the cost and benefits are not in detail, but you can see that they can estimate, for example, here with the there is both includes the cost and benefits from the market price and the other from non-market price. The production cost of dragging. And with the environmental impacts, not value, they cannot value. Here at the in the with the number 2 item, you can see that to avoid expenditure on protective work and the avoid damage infrastructure and property. Okay. And in this project, they are trying to estimate as much as the costs of this project that impact into the environment, the human and the the nature. And there are some items that you will learn at the next. So you can see that the difference between the FA and the CBA by the item list in the um, financial in the financial table report. So so with the CBA and FA, you can see that with this is from here comparing, so that you can see with the CBA and how the idea how to approach with the sustainability of the economic activities. It's the same with the theory that you learned from the previous chapter. You can see the difference between the point of view with the private course and with the firm in the market. With the firm and consumer in the market, we have the market equality and the society's equality. And so there you have two approaches to the optimal environmental pollution, optimal pollution. We have a two. Then you know that there are two approach. There are two approach to the optimal pollution. One point of view from the socialist efficient perspective. And in this approaching, you also need to know how to calculate the externality with the externality, external cost, and external benefit. And with another approach to the optimal with the optimal pollution. That's the damage cost and the abatement cost. But how you can draw? At least you can draw the um, the MAC marginal abatement cost and MDC the marginal damage cost in the diagram. In order to draw this line, you must information. You need the information from cost of the damage cost and the abatement cost. For this, in this reason, with the CBA, you can you can do this because in this with the CBA, provide you information, provide you with some technique you can do it and how you can approach to the to the issues. Okay. So now you know the importance of of doing CBA. When CBI is implemented, CBI can be done before the project start, during the project, and after the project, when the project finished. Or even there is a combination between the um, like the ex ante CBI and ex post CBI. Ex ante CBI, that means that you done the project, you just do the CBI before this, before the project starts, and ex post CBI, that means you do the CBI after the project finished. And the purpose of when doing CBI is a different. It's depend on the investor or the policy maker. They need information. So how to do this is CBA, and as you can see, can you still see my slide? Because I moved to the slide steps in CBA. In CBA, have you seen that? Someone let me know.
No, it's still the question and the difference between FI and CBI.
Oh, no. I moved so many slides, but you cannot see where. Oh, so what is the problem here? Now I'm moving the slide. Have you seen this? So if you cannot see,
yes.
You see this? Oh, now that is it. When you are here that I'm talking about something that you cannot see from the slide, please let me know. Now I'm at the slide of the financial performance, the table 3 projections of financial performance. Have you seen this? Nguyễn Quỳnh Trang?
We haven't seen any slide.
I said, I close the slides and share it again. Quỳnh Trang, can you see the slide, the table 3, projection of financial performance? Quỳnh Trang, please let me know.
Yes, we can see the table now, the projection of financial performance.
Yeah. When I share my slide in this way, maybe the slide quite small. But when I slideshow, so you can see it with the more clearly. But actually, that's after for a while, and that's the slide is not, it's not working. So is it so is it possible if I show the slide in this way? Is it so you can see the slide, but it's so small? Is it or I can share the slide in this way, or you need the I slideshow? I show the slide. Nguyễn Quang Huy, please. What do you think? Nguyễn Quang Huy, are you there? Please, what do you think about if I show the slide in this way, or I make it bigger? Because if I make it bigger and then it's not works later without notification, so I didn't know that my slide is not working.
Actually, you can just let the slide be like that, because even when you use the slideshow effect, it still be very small.
Maybe you need like a with a bigger screen, with very big screen. So. And if someone use with a cell phone, so I think it's very small because the table um, give us so many information. So it's very small if you use with the cell phone. But also then I will show the slide in this way. Okay, so that it works. And by the next slide that you can see information from the economic analysis. Sometimes it's the name economic analysis. And it's the same with CBA. It's not financial analysis. And with its result, you cannot see in some item in detail of cost and benefit. But you see that there's some environmental impacts can be estimated. And here you also see that there is some environmental impact cannot estimate, because before that some of them is not easy to value, and the challenge is also the challenge. But from the point of view of decision maker, they have information and some number better than there's no number. And it's not good if they decide from the financial report. So reason already. So here is the steps in doing CBA. And here I share with you that is doing CBA. There's a six steps. But in other book you can see that maybe it's only 5 steps, or in other book it's 8 steps. But or even there is a 5 or 8 steps that we need to know the flow of doing CBA and what the content from of the CBA. And in the first step we define, and so I mentioned scanning with the what is all the steps. Yes, with the step 1 that is define and to define all the purpose of the analysis, or to define the project. And the step 2 with the scale and perspective of CBA. And in the letter I explain you all what is it. And the step 2 determine or to estimate the quantitatively the input and output flow, and estimate the social costs and benefit. With the step 2, we determine what is the input and output of the project. And it's a step to put the value on the cost and benefits. And step 5 to compare it. and the step 6 to give some the options to choice. In one project, it cannot be like with one result of the of the cost and benefits analysis. Is that there are some option without, for example, with the option with the without without the project, and option with the project, and another option, and some suggestions. So give the info suggestion for the decision maker. In the first steps, we I try to define what is the project, and the project can be described as an economic activity in which resources are being combined to achieve one or more goals. Like for example, in one area we can do it with the stream farming or planting protection forest. Or in one area in one area, should we do the fishing here, or we do or we changing this area into the nature reserve area. So with the first step, we need to identify all the economic activity can be done in the area, in one area. And after identify what should economic activity can be done in the area. So, and then in the step 2, it is usually a physical project or regular program. And in the step 2, we identify with the physical project. For example, with the direct public production, such as a dam or water treatment plant, etc. Also, regulatory programs that are aimed at enforcing the environmental laws or regulations, such as the pollution control standards or waste disposal practice. And that means how the so how do the analyst determine the scale of the project? From the step 2, we can here estimate, we can list here the benefits and costs. We can like to see in from the above view that what is the cost and benefit. Here I list here for the examples of the what is the benefit and cost of a project on planting a protection forest. That is the protection forest. That means that we're planting a forest on a coastal area, for example. And then if we have a forest on the coastal area, the benefit may be reducing the storm damage, gathering wood, and fishing. And then another cost like buying seeds, improving land and wage for the labor, etc. So with the determine the quantitatively the input and output of the programs. That means we can put the value uh, on the on the cost and benefit. But how we can how we can determine the cost and benefits? There are a number of different approaches to this issue. You know that there is two approaches, as I said before. If we approach with the from the point of view that the socially efficient scales maximize the net social benefits from the project. That means that with the MAC equal to MDC. That is one approach. The socially efficient scale of the public project to reduce emission is determined where the MCA curve intersects the MD curve. So that is with the project of the standard emission control. That is a that belong to the regulator authority programs. So what time can we need a break? Do you need a break? Okay, so we take a break in 10 minutes. Huh? Okay. So we continued. Before before we go to the step further, step 2, I have a question that why the cost and benefit in economic analysis is a challenge. Let me ask Vũ Minh Hồng, please.
Hello, teacher.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay. So, what is why is estimation of cost benefit in CBA is a challenge?
Your slide is moving so fast, so I can't see whether the question is.
What do you mean Twitter moving so fast?
It's changing quite quick.
What is it changing? What is it changing?
Zoom in and zoom out.
You mean that because I change the slide so fast, or my lecture is it too fast for you to can catch my idea?
Oh, okay. So now I can see it.
Hmm? So my question is why is the estimation of cost benefits in CBA is a challenge?
Because I think that many estimator can be calculated due to the price because of the missing indicator and
what do you mean with a missing indicator? Why is the indicators missing?
Because the process of data is not done done perfectly. So there is some.
So do you mean that it's because of the software? Some the data analysis of some software is not perfect, so there's some data is missing, or for this reason that some cost benefits in CBA is a challenge. Do you mean that?
It is the reason, but the main reason is many indicators cannot be calculated. As I said,
why the indicator cannot calculate it? Why do you think that indicators cannot calculate it? No. Okay, so the estimation of cost and benefits in CBA is a challenge because some costs and benefits cannot be used at the market price. So with some costs and benefits, we can value it because we use the market price. The other costs and benefits is a non-market price. There is no market price for it. So we cannot use the market to value the cost benefits, because actually that these costs and benefits really exist in the society, but it's sometimes in somehow it can be not put into the price. Therefore, it's not, you cannot see it in the market. Therefore, we have to do it around. And in the CBA, here is the step or the procedure to do CBA. And why we have to follow this steps? Because in this following these steps, that is the instruction for you when you're doing this CBA, and therefore you don't miss any items or any indicators. Indicators is not, I think that is not in this case. Maybe that is the item of costs and benefits. Because in the, as you can see that in here from the first step, it's a give you the the first step to do CBA. You must to identify the scale of the project. It's different when the investor they doing the scale of the project. The scale of the like the private investor or the private producer. They just only that care about the costs, the input, the material that as input for the production process, and the output is that they are consumed. But the CBA they have to care about the area of the scale or the area of the project. It's not about only the consumer. It's about the other people who was impacted by the project, who can benefit from the project or who had the suffer from the project, and identify the skill. And it's a second step, identified the like the it's named like the it's called the type of the project. In the second step, it's just identify the type of the project, and then the next step to determine what is the input and output of the project. And for example, with the cost of a program or a project, for example, with the project like planting a wastewater treatment facility, so engineering staff will be able to provide a full physical specification of the plant, together with the input required to build it and to keep it running. The output is also well defined. So the output is the flow of the treatment water per day or per year. But with the other programs or the other project, it's much harder, because both input and output are more difficult to describe. For example, an information program to inform public of energy, of the energy of household appliances, or working with industries on pollution prevention program. Or another reason is most environmentally related projects do not run in a year or in 5 years or even in 10 years. it will run in longer or even in 50 years. But in the case of CBA doing at a present time, that means the person who are doing the CBA must predict what will happen, not only for a period of 5 years or a period of 10 years or even a duration of 50 years. Is it easy to predict something happen in 10 years? But as you can see in some like a strategy, economic development strategy of Vietnam, you can see that there is a plan or direction in the period from 2021 to 2050. So the time is for like 20 to 50 is 30 years. And if someone to invest money to forest, and with some kind of trees, it's not only like to cut it in 30 years, or even if the longer you let the tree here, the more value of the tree. But in CBA, it's still required that the person who do CBA must describe all the possible costs and benefits. Or when you list the costs and benefits in the paper, you must approve that this cost and benefit is feasible. Or if the cost and benefit you are listed on the paper is not feasible, no one accepts your work. And therefore, the step 3 is quite important. And in the step 2, to estimate the social costs and benefits. In this step, it's required you to measure the costs and benefits of the project. To put the value on input and output flow. Are you just still seeing my slide in the step 4? Thủy Mai, please.
Yes, I see step 4.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. So measuring cost and benefit in monetary terms. And that cost benefit are some of them are not directly registered on the market. So as you know before, that this does not mean the costs and benefits are not only in the market value term. But actually that that monetary units are very powerful in decision making. When decided to whether or not to implement a new environmental tax, the policymaker want to know the dollar value of all the benefits and costs of the tax compared to the other option. And how many environmental texts in Vietnam? In Vietnam that you know? And do you think that how the policy, the regulator, Vietnamese regulators, that they take the environmental text, how they can give the decision that on the environmental text? So, so that means before or even before they give the environmental text in put on the law, and they need to do CBA. Or even they need to do CBA. And do you think that at first, my first question that do you know any the environmental text in Vietnam? And then I will ask you the next question that the Vietnamese decision maker or Vietnamese regulators are that do they follow the CBA steps, or do we do the CBA before they have the environmental text? But the first question is because you have learned about the what is the you have learned the environmental text in theory with the PIGO, right? With the PIGO rules on environmental tech and environmental tax, so taxation. So I ask you a question that do you know? Can you name the Vietnamese environmental taxation? Who raised the hands? Nguyễn Công Quyền, please. Công Quyền, please. Can you hear my question? No, he is not here. Nguyễn Quang Hiếu, please. Quang Hiếu? No, you are not here. Nguyễn Thị Minh Hoa.
I'm here.
Okay, that's good.
Can you repeat your question?
My question is that do you know any Vietnamese environmental text?
Vietnamese environmental.
Yes, taxation.
Sorry, I don't know.
You don't know the. Do you know about the PIGO rule? PIGO?
PIGO.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No, you haven't learned it from the chapter in the previous chapter.
PIGO tax.
Yeah, PIGO taxation on the government solution to solve the problems that you have a standard, a fee, environmental standard, right? Environmental fees and cost theorem. No, you don't know that? Cost theorem? So
yes, I know, but I don't remember details about the PIGO code.
Okay. So who can do it? Please. Nguyễn Văn Hoàng, please. Nguyễn Văn Hoàng, please. Oh, what's the matter? Or can he not? He cannot hear me, or any technical problem, or he's not here. He's at join a class, and then let me ask another. Nguyễn Thị Huệ, please.
Cô có nghe thấy em không ạ?
Có. Yes, I can hear clearly. Or do you know PIGO rules, or do you know any Vietnamese taxation? No?
Sorry, teacher, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Normally, that when the government apply the taxation, they want to change behavior of the people in the society. And when the government applies the environmental taxation, they want to change the behavior of human um, on environment. And in Vietnam, we also have until now some Vietnamese some environmental taxation. For example, you can see it on the bill of the water. In the water bill, you can see that beside the payment for the water, or for the fresh water using, and it also pays with 10% of 10% in the water, fresh water for the discharge water, for the discharging wastewater into in the environment. And when the government like in the designing in the designing period of this taxation, and they and the Vietnamese government invited the expert from Japan to help Vietnam to to assess to have Vietnam to assess um, to assess with the costs and benefits when they want to apply um, to this tool, apply this taxation, because if there is a pay more on the water bill, or the water bill, so that all the people in the society has to suffer from this fees or taxation. With the some for example, because you are students, so you don't some of you may some of you pay the water fees, the water pay the water like using water. But I think that you haven't noticed about the the fee, the money that you paid for discharging wastewater. But some other poor people, when they take the more 10% on their bill, so they may be effect on their welfare. And for this reason, the Vietnamese government invited experts from Japan, and they come to Vietnam and they identified all the costs and benefits of of this policy. That's why I asked. That's in the step four, to put the value of to put the value on cost benefits on all the social costs and benefits. And in the assessment, in the paper assessment of the from the Japanese expert, they also put some costs and some benefit that I cannot be using the market price. And they also offer some options. What is the options? It's option they put the 10 the taxation rate is a 10% or 5% considering, or how they can how the government can apply this taxation. And then finally they decide that to put it on the water bill. And in the previous chapter, there is a some way how to how to apply the economic tool. to how to apply this economic tool for the to solve the environmental problem. And in this way, they applied on the to change the human behaviors on discharging wastewater into the environment. They applied on the water use, and it takes 10% of the from the wastewater use. So you also that there is another environmental taxation on the behavior of emissions, the from the emissions into the air. How to reduce the behavior of the human admit the pollution into the air. Or they can apply the tax on a motorbike when you're buying a motorbike, or monthly like a taxation on your motorbike using, or another way. Can you find it? And so there is a, I can put it here. There is a homework for you to do to find out it at home, that you can list for me. So list environmental taxation of Vietnam. That is, you can see that how they apply the theory in reality, and which approach that they are using to change the human behavior on impact on environment. And in the CBAs, they also need that, or even you put like you have a policy, for example, with the environmental taxation policy. Also need to, it's a much better if you have an information from CBA, so you can know that if there is a new law on environmental taxation, who can get benefit and who can serve a force. And so the total net benefit of the society is bigger than zero, or is smaller than zero. That is in the step 5. We compare with the cost and benefit. And you know that the cost and benefit here is not done in like for example in 3 months or in 6 months. And with the some environmental project is last long, or even with the 50 year for 30 years. How we can compare the cost, and for example how we can compare with benefit happened in 2000 with the benefit that happened in 2020. It's a, you cannot add the, for example with the benefit that you can get in 2000 is a 10 million, and benefit in 2001 is 10 million too. But you cannot add up that benefit in 2 years is a 20 million, because the value of each year is different. So with the word like compare the cost and benefit, it's not easy to add up all the benefit from year by year, and the cost as well, because the values of in monetaries of cost and benefit in different years, they have a different values. And comparing here, I said here in compare with cost and benefit, we have so many indicators. We can use, for example, like a net present value. So I will explain you later what is a net present value and benefit cost ratio or internal rate of return. But back to the back to an approach my the Can you hear me? Because it seems.
Yes, I still hear you.
Oh, thank you. As I you are recording and someone is recording this, and then therefore it interrupts my slide. So please don't recording it, please, because that is a regulation of the university. Um, so you are so you know that before you can before compare take the benefit minus the cost, so we get the net benefit. So we because the process lasts in some time periods, therefore we have a two discounting. And in or even in one, as I know before, before that there is a choose what is a choosing process. So no in the first step you have a two choices. There in one area we have a some process, and when comparing with the cost and benefits, we have the net benefit. And with the net benefit, we are can choosing among the project. There is a one project. There's so when someone offer the one economic activity in area, there is much another project too. And choosing the project A in one area, we can have a one project A, B, C, etc. And choosing the project, or even in one project, there is some options. So with the discounting, okay, back to the slide. So what if there is more than one way to achieve a particular policy goal? So what route? So which criteria? Any question? Uh, what rule do we use to select one of the options? And the cost and benefits occur over more than 1 year. So how can we calculate the cost and benefit? And how the discounting rate can be used in this way? What is the discounting? Have you ever heard about the discounting? Discounting. Here you can see that the values in $100 now is not the same with the value in next year. So this is called the time reference. And the rate of the time reference or is a discount rate is often equated to the interest rate. Normally, when doing the CBA or even with the financial analysis, normally with the discount rate, they use the interest rate. For example, if the interest rate is 10%, that means when you send $100 into a bank, at 10% in a year, after 10 years, $100 your $100 is now 110. And but in some others, in some CBA projects, for example, in the US, they prefer to use another discounting. So, what is the discounting rate? And discounting rate has two phases. The first is the mechanic of doing it, and then the reasoning behind the choice of discount rates to be used in specific case. And then sometimes the discounting rates used with the interest rate minus with the inflation rate. Inflation rate, that means if you have $100 year now and the inflation rate, for example, like a 3%. So that means is the next year or even you still get $100, but the value of this $100 by the next year under the inflation rate is just only like 97. So sometimes the discount rate using by the interest rate minus with the inflation rate. And there is no rules. When using discounting rate. You can use the present value. Oh, what is a present value? I haven't. I give you here. Yeah. For example, with the exercise, there is a municipal sewage treatment plant. Here's a net benefit. Net benefit in current value. In current value, that means in net benefits, that means that's a net benefit equal benefits minus cost. And here you can see that the project with the it's a municipal sewage treatment plant. And the option, 3 options. In one project here is 3 options. The first option is enhanced tertiary. And the second option is a tertiary. And the last option is secondary. And with the first option, here you can see that 0. 0, that means the time of investment. So the money net benefit is minus 100. And in the first year, the net benefit equal to 0. And the second is a 30. And the third is a 50. And the fourth is a 60. So present value Here you can I will back it later with the present value. Here in present value that the year you choose, like as the year you choose to calculate the monetaries or the monetary. For example, if you choose the investment, the 0 year as a present value, all the money happen in the year 1, year 2, year 5, year 3, year 4, back to the years of 0, I call it, and it calls a present value. And if you choose as year 2 as a year, you to calculate, the value. Here you have to change the 0, sorry, for minus $100, for example, in dollar value in the year of 2, using discount rate, and all the money happen in the other years change to the years to the year 2. So there is no rules for you to select 1 year as initial year to calculate the value. You can choose year 0, year 1, year 2 as the initial year to calculate, to change the other values into the initial year. So normally with the projects, they use the year they doing CBA as the initial year to calculate the value of the benefit and cost in other year.
Mọi người ơi, cô đang báo là máy tính của cô bị treo nên mọi người đợi một chút nhé. Mọi người ơi, tôi vừa xin được cô giáo cho mọi người nghỉ đấy. Thôi mọi người leave meeting và đi ăn trưa đi nhé. Bye bye.
Ok.